Hi, it's Nitya with Nitya Living. And I wanted to, after doing Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's chart and looking at their marriage, the doom, I should say, of that marriage, I wanted to also kind of look at what's going on with Will Smith. Okay, the slap that was heard around the world. Honest to God, as if that was the most important thing to happen when there's so much more of greater importance going on in our world than a slap on a public stage by very respected people in their industry being celebrated. Craziness, right? I'm sorry about the glare. I love a sun-filled room, but there are challenges that come with it anyway. All right, so diving into Will Smith, what is going on? Well, he's born in the year of the monkey. We see that, right? He's a very playful person. But what we really see, more than anything, is that he's born on the day of a dog, an earth dog, a yang earth dog. This is a very strong person. This is someone who is about justice, about fairness, about standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves. Somebody with a lot of work ethic, integrity. Yeah, so super strong person. And interestingly enough, his day pillar is also very much like his hour, which is your career. Your hour is your career and your children. And for him, he is also born in the hour of the dog. And so you see this. I'm surprised he hasn't been in more superhero movies, right? Because that dog energy is so a reflection of himself. He is that great protector. And that's the identity and the archetype of the savior, the hero of the story, the one who comes to save the day. Okay, that is his mojo. So it's interesting because an actor, a musician, he's both. All those performing arts are reflected as fire energy. And he's very weak in fire. His parents show up as yin metal, branch and stem, because he's born in the month of the rooster. And his parents show up as real rebellious people, very smart, very kind of just going to the beat of their own drum, like I like to say. But, it's interesting because all of that metal is what he cares for. It's what he puts his earth energy into. Just like, the cycle of the elements is everything. In nature, in our own physical body, in our homes, everything's about that balance. And so when you have earth creates metal, just like when you're digging in the ground and you find stones, okay? And fire creates earth, just like after a fire you see the ash, that's the earth, okay? So we have that cycle of relating, we call it. And this is an interesting setup because most of his energy is about what he creates, his level of activity, motivation, so strong, his self, his allies, his sense of self, so strong. What supports him, very weak. His career, non-existent. There is no wood in his chart at all. No wood at all. In fact, I would almost call this a fake follow chart because there is so much metal. And so with the absence of wood and weak fire, you really would look through his luck cycles every 10 years to see, oh, and it's really interesting. Robin Williams was another perfect example of somebody that had a horrible chart, very imbalanced like this one. And at just the right time, everything aligns for right elements to come into play, for them to skyrocket into stardom, have this big, wow, awesome, amazing career, and then boom, the energies that are needed for that to happen are gone, and they die. Well, at least in his case. Or something like a great slander happens and they lose their career, right? Or maybe they get sick. Something happens. There's a dramatic shift. So what's going on right now? I look back because I'm like, all right, how is it that this guy has had such a long, illustrious, successful career up until now, right? Because that slap, it's amazing that that happened and then he received an award. What the heck? You know, it's like if this were in a classroom setting, that award would have been taken away. I don't care how hard he worked to earn it, right? And then we have this whole thing of fairness, justice with him. No. So let's go back. So you look at his luck cycle when he was 24 to 33, Yang wood with water, because it was a Yang wood rat luck cycle. And that luck cycle gave him what? Yang wood. And what you really need when you have a total, like very weak or absent element is you need the thing that feeds it present with it. Okay? So for instance, if you have no wood and all of a sudden you've got a plant, that plant isn't going to grow if it doesn't have any support. Okay? So the water was very beneficial, and this is like, boom, career. Very strong. Not super strong because the fire isn't there. You don't have that flow. What you have is like a really lopsided chart, being all earth and metal. And the water, thankfully, is balanced enough that if you can get wood with fire, you've got the whole thing flowing, you see? And when it all flows, life happens. It feels awesome. You're on top of your game. So then we hum along through there, 2002. He comes into a yin wood ox period. Now this one, not as strong of an influence. And I'm almost curious to know, I mean, I don't know all his movies and all of his work, but I would venture to guess that things weren't as great 2002, 2012. Now, the interesting thing about 2012, which was 10 years ago, is that he came into a Yang fire tiger luck cycle. And this is what he is moving out of when? This year. Very interesting. Now, all of that fire with the wood really put great emphasis on his career. And because he already is balanced in water, there is that continuum of flow in his chart. So 2012 to now, he's really been in a really great place for his career, ages 44 to 53. Now, in October, and typically you feel intuitively, I can't tell you how many times somebody has asked for an astrology reading when they are in the year of a luck cycle shift, because we feel it. We feel in ourselves that something is shifting that we can't understand, see, but we see, I mean, we don't see it except that things in our life start to be somewhat less familiar, maybe. Sometimes there's parts of our lives where we wake up and we're like, I don't recognize my life anymore. I myself, after this pandemic, my work looks vastly different. My life looks vastly different. I have lost so much. It's like so many people. And you notice these shifts begin. Now I can tell you that slap changed everything. And I'm going to tell you why. So he's still in this luck cycle, in that transition mode. Things are beginning to really move now for him. Things are shifting. He is too yang in his chart. You always want a balance of feminine and masculine. He is too yang. He needs that yin energy, which he mostly gets from his wife, Jada. She's a pretty, and you sense this with her. She's pretty grounded. She's a pretty balanced person. We'll get to her in a second. All right. So here we have yang fire with yang wood, because that's what the tiger energy is. So he's in this yang fire tiger period. That marked. Next, we just have entered into, well, I guess we were about a month and a half into the year of the yang water tiger. It's got two tigers going on. We've got a lot of water. Money for him is water. We have a lot of fire, which is support, his allies. And what else do we have when we have allies? Enemies. And we have all this wood energy focused on his career. Now, you're not going to believe this. March 27th, 2022 was the day of the Oscars. This was a yin wood rabbit day, a yin water rabbit month in a yang water tiger year. The rabbit is yin wood. So we've got two of those, two yin woods. It's like we're serving up a plate, right? Two yin woods plus a yang wood with the tiger that has a little bit of earth and a little bit of fire in it. So what I'm seeing, and there is so much, there is, I kind of look at, my intuition tells me that when somebody is in a time where he is yang earth, and this is a day of yin earth, it's as if you are seeing what I call your shadow side. Now, the interesting thing about a shadow side, you never know which side of your moon you're standing on. Isn't that an interesting thing to think of? Because how do you know where you are isn't the dark place until you see something else, right? Until something shows you, oh, I've been on the light side because this is really dark, right? Or vice versa. So you're seeing this other side of himself. There is responsibilities, a lot of focus on family and responsibilities and his work. So much on his work. The tiger, because it's yang wood, is not just his work. It's his work in transition. It's his work in challenge. It's his work coming up against people that might be slanderous, critical, judgmental, authoritative, even harmful. And it really suggests, as this last 10 years has been, a pivotal point of transformation in his career. Things are really developing in his career. And with that comes challenge, okay? And so it's all of this wood energy. And at the end of this year, in the fall, he shifts into a yin fire rabbit luck cycle that will go for the next 10 years through to when he's 63 years old. And this energy of the rabbit really pulls him back into family, home, taking care of his responsibilities, and also in all of that, his career kind of is smoothly headed to its retirement, I might say, when he reaches 63, because the wood is gone. And once that wood fades out, I don't know what of his career will be left. It's going to be kind of an interesting thing to see. There's also conflict in his chart because and I've mentioned this, the tiger clashes with the monkey. He's born in the year of the monkey. He's been in this luck cycle of the tiger. Now, it's not as bad as a direct hit. Nothing is worse than conflict that comes at your day pillar, because that's you. So this isn't a hit to his dog self. This is a hit to his overall self. So it's not as personal. It's not coming after him, his own welfare or his marriage. But that wood metal fighting is really coming after his ability to be active, to be productive, to still be given creative projects to move into. So there's a lot of conflict going on. And yeah. So that day of the Oscars, I could not believe this is something, the lineup. I looked around. I didn't see the exact time that the slap happened, but you know, the thing is, it was such a moment. That day was all about his career. The rise up, getting an Oscar, and the great fall from his poor choice in action. Every single one of us has, when you are challenged, the bully is standing on stage giving a joke that hits you wrong, that you take personally because you choose to. I mean, let's face it, a comedian comes out, they're going to say stuff, right? They're going to say stuff that's funny, and it's inevitably poking fun at somebody else or poking fun at something. And people laugh. Some people are laughing because they feel like they have to. Some people are laughing in pain. Some people choose not to laugh. Comedy is a tricky biscuit. It can be vicious. And for anybody that's been bullied, it's not funny. It's not funny to make fun, to say something about someone's hair, to be that personal, you know. It's like if she had gained 50 pounds because she was taking a medication because she was sick, and he made a joke about her weight. It's kind of like that, right? And so, in that moment, he made a really poor choice. And as far as I'm concerned, if anybody thought of him as their hero, boom, falling off that pedestal. That's a poor choice he made. and the lineup for that day, it's going to be interesting. So that punishment that he's got of the tiger with that's compounded by the tiger of his luck cycle that's fading out, compounded by this year of the tiger. And then this month of the snake, which is May, there may be another thing that comes up, because now this month is a full punishment, and I guarantee something's going to come up. Now, Jada, like I said, she's pretty balanced with yin and yang. She is a fire horse. I myself am born in the year of the fire horse, but she is a fire horse day. I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine. I mean, just having this energy as my year, compulsive, passionate, action-oriented, compulsive, fiery. Wow. So she's strong in herself just like he is. This woman stands on her own 2 feet. She's also strong in metal. And she's weak in her other elements. Not so terribly much with wood, just weak there. Definitely weak in earth, definitely weak in water. And the day of the Oscars really was about, for her, support. Maternal, nurturing energy, support. And also her husband, her career and family. And something changing that day for her. What was changing for her that day? And for her, the tiger is a void energy. Sorry. And in addition to that, there was, on the day of the Oscars, a lot of focus on a lot of interaction in her chart, creating a lot of fire and a lot of wood. So this really felt to me like where Will's chart really is talking more about his career that day and justice. Her chart really speaks, and with that, I will say this aggravated punishment of the tiger and his monkey. But with her, what we're seeing is much more about her, and it's very personal. It is very much about, like I was saying, feeling supported, her family, her husband, and she's also in a luck cycle that mirrors this year, Yang Water Tiger. And for her, this decade is very much about her career, and her career going through challenges and changes and working with difficult people. So, and what is a void? Because I'm sure you were like, what did she say? Void? Voids are probably one of the aspects of Bazi Chinese astrology that is the most confusing to understand. And the way I think of a void, whether it's a day, a month, a year, or God forbid, an entire luck cycle, or even worse, having a void in your chart, is everyone has 2 animals that are kind of like your void of course. In Western astrology, when the moon is void of course. It can also kind of be like a retrograde because what's happening is that those 2 animals, those elements, and the way that they impact your chart are very much like walking knee-deep through a swamp in a fog. Everything takes more effort. You can't see clearly. Your decision making is off, is clouded. It's stressful, it can be exhausting, and it can be really hard to get anything done. It's the time when you're more likely to buy a lemon of a car and a money pit of a house. It's the time when you're more likely to marry someone and 3 months later go, oh my God, what have I done? Okay. So for her, this tiger luck cycle she's been in has been in void, and this year really brings that to the forefront. It is magnified for her, and I would imagine that in the course of this year something is going to change in her work, and it could be some kind of fallout from this event, or something else. We don't know. She does have an interesting amount of support. Now, through the lens of a void, if she has support and she's in void, that support is questionable, inconsistent, just wobbly. Inside of the tiger, there's a little bit of earth and a little bit of fire, which represents her and her daughter. And so in that, there's a little bit of shadow work going on here with herself, with her relationship with her daughter, and with her relationship to other people, to her allies and support. It's kind of like a little bit shadowed, like a little tucked in. And very interesting to see how this year will play out, given the events that took place at the Oscars. And as far as their relationship goes, to touch on that, as she is fire, and a horse, which is also fire, and he is an earth dog. They both have double fire for her. He's double earth. And they both, in relationship, are looking for a partner, an equal partner, a friend, someone to share their life with. And they also both look for someone who is alternative thinking, maybe a little rebellious, goes to their own beat of their own drum, is very intuitive, really smart. I mean, they don't want to sit down and have a dumb conversation, let's face it. And he also has a little extra piece that's looking for a mama. He's looking for somebody to be his mama, just a little bit. Give him that nurturing, yummy hugs, yummy love. And yeah, so, in a lot of ways. And then fire is created with the dog and the horse. They create fire together. And in addition to that, the tiger creates a full fire trio. So this is a spicy hot time for these guys, for sure. And it's directly impacting her as a fire person. And it's directly impacting him in that this is the element fire that he puts out, that supports him, that gives him that strength. And so, yeah, he really benefits from this relationship. I would almost venture to say he probably gets more out of it than she does. But either way, completely different from Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. What a disaster. What a train wreck of a relationship. Will Smith and Jada Smith, I would not think that this event would ruin their marriage. I think that they have a lot going for them. And it's really beautiful when you see that both people are basically looking for the same kind of relationship with each other. So that's it for today. Thank you so much. Be well. And hey, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much.